Alright then, so now we have our Mongoose models ready and set up for action, the book and the author. So we can use both of those two to communicate with our MongoDB instance on MLab. Now then, previously in our root queries, what we were doing is resolving data locally from arrays, right? Now, we'll be resolving our data in future from our database on MLab. However, currently, there's no data in there. There's no authors stored in there, no books. So we cannot really resolve any data yet. It needs to be present in the database first for us to do that. So I think this is a perfect opportunity to introduce mutations in GraphQL. So what are mutations? Well, essentially, mutations are what allow us to mutate or change our data. So adding data, deleting data, editing data, these are all mutations. Now, in GraphQL, we need to explicitly define our mutations to say what data can be changed, added, deleted, etc. So let's go about doing that. Now, underneath the root query, what I'm going to do is create now another constant, and this is going to be called mutation. So setting up our mutations essentially in the same kind of way we set up our root query up here. All right. So let us set this equal to a new GraphQL object type, which is right there. Then inside we need to pass through an object, and this is going to have a name property. The name is just going to be mutation, like so. And then the next property is going to be the fields property. Now, we also had the fields property up here, remember? We do exactly the same thing in our mutation down here. And this is going to kind of let us store the different kinds of mutations that we want to make to, for example, add an author or delete an author or update an author. So we'll create a field called add author. So when someone uses this add author mutation, then it's going to allow us to add an author to the database. That's the whole idea here. So this add author property is going to be an object, and the first property inside this object is going to be the type, much like everything else. And you'll find with GraphQL, it's just kind of the same code over and over and over. So once you know how to do one thing, you pretty much know how to do the rest of the things that GraphQL can do as well. So this type is going to be an author type because this is what we're trying to add right here, an author. So that's the type defined. The next property is going to be the args. Now, when a user makes a mutation query from the front end, then we'd expect them to send some kind of data or arguments, right? Because if they want to add an author, they're going to need to send along that author name and the age, because they're the two different things we want to store in our database for each author, right? So they're going to pass these through to the GraphQL server as arguments. So the first argument that we expect is going to be a name argument, and the type of this argument is going to be a GraphQL string. So much like when we had in our root queries over here, when we made a query for a book, we're saying we're querying a book type, and we want the user to pass an argument, which is an ID, so we know which book to query, and that's going to be of type GraphQL ID. We're doing the same kind of thing down here. When they're making a mutation, they're going to send back several arguments, the different properties of that data type, and each argument is going to have a different type. So the type of the name is going to be a string that we're expecting, and also we need an age, and that is going to be a type GraphQL int, all right, because that's a number, not a string. So they're the only two arguments really we're expecting from the user when they try to make this add author mutation. So again, much like everything else, we do all the kind of legwork in the resolve function. This is where we take the arguments that they've sent along with the query. We'll say, okay, we'll take them and we'll make a new instance of an author and store it in the database, right? So this is where we do that. So again, we're taking the parent and the args, and we're going to use those args in a minute. And inside here, what we're going to do to begin with is just create a new kind of local variable. So I use let, and then it's going to be called author. And I'll set this equal to a new author. Now this author right here, this is our model. We imported that right at the top of the file over here, const author equals require this thing. So we're using this author now to create a new instance of that data type just locally to begin with. This is how Mongoose works, right? So this author is going to have some different properties inside it. It needs a name, which is going to be args.name. So that's the thing that the user sent along with this kind of mutation query. They sent along the name of the author they want to add. So when we create a new author locally using Mongoose, we're saying, okay, we'll set the name property equal to args.name that the user sent along. Also, the age is going to be equal to args.age. All right. So now what we've done is created this local little variable called author and set it to a new local instance of this author data type. So now what we need to do is take this instance of the author data type and save it to our database. And we can do that really, really easily by just saying author.save. This again is the power of Mongoose connecting to our database. When we create a new instance of a data type, we have access to different properties on that data type. One of them is the save method. So we can just say, well, okay, we've got this instance. Now we want to save it to the database. And Mongoose knows how to save it to our particular collection and database because we've already defined the model collection in here. When we said this is the model name, so this is going to be the collection name, it's going to pluralize that and store it in a collection called authors, and it knows the database because we're connected to the database right here. So it's going to do all of the work for us behind the scenes. That's all we need to do to save it to the database. Awesome, right? Okay then, so now we have this mutation defined right here, but we need to do one more thing. Down here where we export the GraphQL schema, we're saying that the root query is this thing right here, this query. We also need to pass through a property called mutation, and this is going to be mutation, which is what we just created right here. So right here, when we're exporting our GraphQL schema, we're saying that a user can query using these root queries right here, and it can perform mutations using this mutation thing right here, okay? So now from the front end, I mean, cross your fingers and hope this works. We hopefully should be able to make a mutation. So let's give this a whirl. I'm going to pop over to a graphical right now and try to make a mutation. Now, normally when we make a query, we do it in curly braces like this. We're saying, okay, we want to query a book or, you know, an author, etc. When we're making a mutation, we need to place mutation in front of this because no longer is this just a simple query. We're making a change. We're mutating data. We need to tell GraphQL that we're making a mutation. So what mutation are we making? Well, in the code, we define this mutation as add author. So that's how we make the mutation from the front end. So we'll say add author, and then remember it expects some arguments. The first argument is the name, and that's of type string. So let's place that in double quotes, and I'm going to call this, I don't know, Sean, for the hell of it. All right. The age will pass through as well. We'll just say 30. And then inside, we want to say, okay, well, when we've created this author, when we've handled this mutation, what data about it do you want to receive back? Well, I'll take the name and age back as well. So let's give this a whirl. Let's save it. And not save it rather, let's play it and see what comes back. Okay, we get add author is null. So why is that? Well, if we take a look in MLab at the minute, we can see, and you might need to refresh your page by the way, we can see this authors collection has now been made. So in the code, when we've saved this author, it's saved it to a new authors collection. And if we take a look inside there, we should see that record, name Sean, age 30. So it's been stored and it's given it this ID as well, randomly generated. So that's all working. So why are we not receiving the data back? Well, the reason is if we go to this resolve function where we're actually saving the data, we're not returning anything. Now, fortunately, when we use this method, author.save, what Mongoose does is return that, give us that object back, okay, that we saved. So all we need to do is return the result of this method right here, and that will work for us, okay? So if we save this and give this a whirl one more time, I'm just going to create a new author right here, and I'm going to call it Stephen, age 38, and let's press play. This time we're going to save that author, then we get these things back as well, okay? So the author we just saved, we get back, and we can do something with that in our code on the front end if we wish, all right? So there we go, that's how we make a mutation, and let's just refresh over here to see if we have that different record. Yeah, now we have Stephen as well. So yeah, that is mutations in a nutshell. So far, we've just created one to add an author. So in the next tutorial, what we'll do is create another mutation called add book or something like that to add a book.